Hello students, and today's class we are going to see the continuation of yesterday's, the previous class, hyperthermia. Previous class we saw regarding hypothermia. Now there's the opposite one, the hyperthermia. Hypothermia means what? Hypothermia also has negative consequences for the neonates, defined as a rectal air axillary temperature greater than 37.3 degrees Celsius. Risk factors for hyperthermia. Risk factors are excessive environmental temperature. Second one is the sepsis. Third one is dehydration. The next one is alteration in the hypothalamic control mechanism. Like example, birth trauma, anomalies, and drugs, which is going to inhibit those things. These factors going to affect. So where these babies are under high risk for hyperthermia. Signs of hyperthermia. Signs of hyperthermia are tachypnea. Tachypnea, the first one. The next apnea. The next tachycardia. Next flushing, hypotension, irritability, poor feeding, skin temperature or core temperature increases. Okay, these are some of the common one. You can able to see the child can't restrict irritable when the child was wearing the clothes, or when the child was under the blankets or anywhere else. The child used to have the excess amount of irritations will be expressed by the child. Due to the irritation, the child can't able to take the feeding also properly. Consequences of hyperthermia: increase in metabolic rate, increased oxygen consumption, then dehydration from increased insensible water loss. So all this mechanism tries to compensate the temperature, so it used to consume more. Then peripheral vasodilatations are hypotension, then fluid electrolyte abnormalities, then seizures. Fluid electrolyte abnormality and seizures possibility are due to the impulses metabolic rates, which is over the consequences. Mainly the fluid shift will be taking place, automatically the dehydration will affect. Then increased demand for the oxygen, as well as the increased demand for the energy level, where the brain can't able to be stimulated, where the brain cells used to get impulses variations. Without impulses variations may leads to possibility of seizures. There are a lot of factors to consider. How can I be sure my patient maintains thermoneutrality? It is important to review and understand the four methods of the heat transfer. So by understanding the four methods, we can able to prevent this one. So over this, if you are seeing, the four methods are evaporation, conduction, convections, and radiations. Over the evaporation, you can able to see that evaporation can occur during birth or bathing from moisture on skin as a result of wet linens or cloths and from insensible loss. The next, conductions. Excuse me. Conduction occurs when the infant comes in contact with cold objects, so directly placed on the surface, which is like weighing scale. Excuse me. Then resistant bands. Then cold hand, directly hand washing, and mother was touching the baby. Then stethoscope or any instrument which is directly getting contact with the baby. That is conductions. Then convections. Convections, if you're saying, occurs when the draft come from open door, air conditioning, or even air current created by people moving around. Then radiations, heat is lost by radiation when the infant is near cold surface. Thus heat is lost from the infant's body to the sides of the crib or incubator and to the outside wall and windows. Convection and radiations. Convections occurs when airflow carries heat to or away from the body. Radiation energy exchange occurs between two objects that are not in direct contact with each other. Conductions and evaporation. Conductions, heat exchange that occurs between objects that are in direct contact with one another. Evaporation occurs when liquid is turned to vapor, as with amniotic fluid on a newly delivered infant. So conduction is one of the best method to maintain the temperature, particularly kangaroo mother care. Possible sources of heat loss. What are the possible sources of heat loss are? Possible source of heat loss are baby. If you are taking a baby, the baby is having a four possibility of heat losses. That is radiation, conduction, convection, and evaporation. If you are seeing the radiation, cold room temperature may be the reason, or cold wall, or cold items on bed. That may be the reasons. Then if you are seeing conductions, cold scale, weighing scale, then cold X-ray plates, then cold blankets. Then if you're saying convections, bed near air ventilations, the next oxygen left on, then passing traffic, that is people moving around here and there, air environment or air temperature, evaporation, wet diaphragm, bath, then tachypnea. These are the then strategies to prevent heat loss are convective heat loss can be prevented by providing warm ambient air temperature. So placing infant less than 1500 grams in incubator. Then keeping protocols of the incubator closed. Then warming all inside oxygen on open warmer keeping side up and converting infant if possible. Covering infant possible. Using infant servo temperature control. Then in case of radiant, avoid placement of incubators, warming tables and bassinet near cold windows, walls, air conditioners, etc. Placing a necked hat on the infant head, wrapping tiny babies in saran or bubble swab, then increased environmental temperature. Or we can able to say wrap the baby with the mummification with a warm blanket. Conductive heat loss can be prevented by placing a warm diaphragm or blanket between the neonate and cold surface. Placing infant on pre-warmed table at time of delivery. Then warming all objects that comes in contact with neonate. Admitted infant to a warmed skin to skin contact has to be maintained. Then evaporative heat loss can be prevented by keeping the neonate and his or her environment dry. Dry the baby immediately after delivery. Place preterm or small for gestational age infant in occlusive wrap or bag at delivery. Then delay birth until temperature is stable. Over this concept, we can able to see that decreased body temperature and cold stress can be initiated by evaporation, conduction, convections, and radiations. So that will affect metabolic rate, then metabolism of brown fat, then vasoconstrictions. So over this concept, if you're saying metabolic rate, what the metabolic rate will use to due to the metabolisms, it use excess amount of glucose. Automatically, the child follows to hypoglycemia. And second one, the metabolism needed excess amount of oxygen also. That they use excess amount of oxygen. That will leads to production of surfactant. Then another one side that will lead to hypoxemia. This will lead to respiratory distress. Then in case of metabolism of brown fat, increased production of acids, increased production of acid because brown fat is burnt out. Then metabolic acidosis will lead to due to the acid, the pH level will not be maintained. Then displacement of bilirubin from albumin binding sites. Then that will lead to jaundice for the child. Then vasoconstrictions, if you are seeing peripheral vessels and pulmonary vessels, these both will be acting on this one. Where peripheral vessels will lead to vasoconstriction, pale cold skin will be present. Where the pulmonary vessels that will lead to return to fetal circulation pattern and that will affect the respiratory distress or respiratory functions. This is the overall concept about this temperature problem. Next, intervention for at risk infant. Pre-warmed radiant warmer bed has to be ready. Then pre-warmed incubator has to be ready. Do not leave a warmer bed on incubator in the manual mode. Servo mode allows the baby to control the heat output of the warmer units. Then heated water pad. Then heat lamp, then warm and humidifies inspired gases, then occlusive wrap or bag at delivery. This has to be ready where we can able to prevent the risk infant. The next interventions for at-risk infant, open incubator protocols and doors only when necessary, blanket over incubator, then cluster care. Use of skin servo monitoring. Incubators and radiant warmer are designed to work using skin temperature to regulate the thermal environment. So the temperature is higher in brown fat areas. Avoid placing the temperature probe over brown fat deposited areas such as axilla, neck, and back. Skin servo control. If you are saying if the temperature probe is placed over brown fat deposit area, the probe will be reading a core body temperature and not a skin body temperature. Only the brown fat stimulates the excess amount of heat. Due to the direct contact with this heat producing agent, the brown fat will reflect the same heat. As the core temperature will be higher than the skin temperature, the warming device will cool the environment. The infant will then need to burn fat and calories to stay warm. Then temperature probe placement. Secure the temperature probe at or above the costal margin of the chest. Then midway between the xiphoid and the navel. Costal margin of the chest and midway between the xiphoid and navel. This placement should assure accurate skin temperature measurement. Never lay infant on the probe as this will also cause a falsely high temperature to be registered. Skin temperature probes. Do not lay infant on skin probe. Do not place over. Bony prominence. Area of brown fat deposits. Properly vascular areas. Poorly vascular areas. Then excoriated areas. Keep probe exposed to heat source. Keep probe securely attached. This should be concerned. So where you should not place over bony areas, bony prominences, then brown fat deposits areas, then poor vascular constriction or poor vascular areas, excoriated areas. Then prop should not be exposed to the heat source at the same time. Prop keep prop securely attached. Safety consideration: make sure the side of radiant warmers are up unless medically unable. This protects the infant from air current in the room that might stimulate thermal receptors. Intervention to consider: cover thermoreceptors rich areas such as the head. Dry well after baths, especially the head and the neck area. Dress and cover infant when in cribs to prevent them from chilling. Warm infant prior to dressing changes. Rewarm slowly to prevent potential subsequent drop in blood pressure. Rewarming the hypothermic infant. Always be prepared to intervene. Rewarm slowly 0.5 degrees Celsius per hour. Monitor closely. Monitor closely vital signs every 15 to 30 minutes. Core temperature has to be checked. Skin temperature has to be checked. That has to be higher than the axillary temperature. Then blood pressure, rewarming. We can able to check blood pressure. Rewarming may lead to vasodilatation, hypotension. Then heart rate and rhythm has to be checked. Next, rewarming. Monitor respiratory rate and effort. Increased distress, apnea. Oxygen saturation, hypoxemia, desaturations. Be prepared for increased need for respiratory support. Monitor acid or base status. Glucose. Monitor infant at risk for hypoglycemia. Guidelines for rewarming: incubator better control than warmer. So set temperature 1 to 1.5 degrees Celsius above core temperature. Assess infant temperature 15 to 30 minutes. And infant's core temperature reaches set temperature and infant is not showing signs of deteriorations, increase set temperature again. Continue process until temperature within normal range. Then signs of deteriorations during rewarming: tachycardia due to decrease in cardiac output, then cardiac arrhythmias, then hypotension, hypoxemia, then worsening respiratory distress, worsening acidosis. These are the warning signs. In cooling the overheated neonatal, extended position, not flexed, exposed skin, remove clothing. Keep active temperature reduction method to minimize to prevent dramatic heat loss. Monitor temperature every 15 to 30 minutes. Be prepared to intervene. So either it may be hypo or hyper. You has to be prepared. Preparing bag for delivery. So withdraw paper insert prior to use. Note cotton fabric at open end. Then baby should be placed in feet first with head protruding above cotton fabric edging. So this is about that baby will be received under the cover, which is particularly for the small for gestational or preterm babies. Particularly, we can able to maximum they are using in the primary health centers or sub centers. So key points: infant most vulnerable, premature and small for gestational age infants also, particularly if you are seeing premature and small for gestational. Then infant requiring prolonged resuscitation, then acutely ill, then open skin defects, abdomen and spine. Then remember the basic: warm, humidification, oxygen as soon as possible. Then warm objects before contact with infant. Pre-warmed radiant warmer or incubator has to be ready and the temperature has to be controlled. Then pre-warm casualty, be prepared to resuscitate. Okay, so over this we are completing the topic of hypothermia as well as the hyperthermia. Both we had saw, and how we can able to maintain the temperature, both also we had saw the previous class and in today's class.